Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's Queen Sugar, Season 7, Episode 8, entitled Never to Be the Same. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around and keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. Darla is relieved to see Ralph Angel and Micah return after such a long night in an empty house. Everything is okay, but she notices a slight injury to Ralph's hand. Micah has an urge to say something about the night's event, but Ralph interrupts Micah quickly, saying they're fine, and he just received a call that Cardale's farm is flooding. They've got to leave now. Darla wants to check in on the mill, and they should take 2 cars, but Ralph suggests that they should take 1 to be safe. Micah unintentionally adds more suspicion, saying, yeah, 2 cars, to be safe. Maybe Miss Olivia can look after True. When Darla leaves the room, Micah presses, we've got to tell Darla about what happened. We don't even know where this guy is. Ralph says that he knows, and he'll take care of everything, 1 catastrophe at a time, okay? Members of the co-op, along with volunteers, move quickly to help with the flooding, draining the pipes, loading sandbags, and Micah takes some photos for insurance. Ralph wants to know if Vi will allow the cafe location space for lunch, and she approves. Darla wants to head on over to the mill, but Ralph once again mentions to everyone to stick together and stay close. The diner is way more important than the mill right now. Darla, go with Vi and Billy. The ladies see this sense of seriousness in his voice. Is everything okay? What's going on? Yeah, everyone just needed to be safe together, okay? That's it. Darla knows that something is wrong, but moves forward. Later, Vi receives an unexpected call from a hospice care facility. They have her on record as the next of kin for Jimmy Dale. They'll forward the call now, but Vi does not want to accept the call. She's not his next of kin. Before Vi can decline the call, Jimmy Dale is on the line. What do you want, Jimmy Dale? Ralph yells and screams with anger. Come on, faster. There shouldn't be anyone standing around. Load these bags, hurry. He works so fast, it concerns Micah. Yo, you good? Uncle Ra. Ra pulls the loaded bags so hard that he can barely contain himself, breathing heavily, almost in a panic. Nova updates Billy about the unexpected visit from Calvin. I'm proud of myself. I didn't submit to the emotions of the moment, and I didn't cheat. In the past, I had a terrible habit of not staying committed to my relationship and sticking to my word. I also plan on telling Dominic everything. The honesty is needed, and I don't feel guilty about anything that happened. I remained on my best behavior. Billy is proud of her, and she has some news as well. During the storm, when I was with Sandy, I fell asleep on the couch with Benny. Nothing happened, but I just realized the more time that I spend around other men, the more I think about Vince. Nova encourages Billy to learn more about herself, and everything she's feeling is normal and valid. Vi wants to speak with Billy alone. There's something important that she needs to tell her. It's not about her dad. Prosper is fine. Once they sit down, Vi reveals the news about Jimmy Dale. A hospice nurse called me and said that Jimmy Dale is dying. It was a Hail Mary of a shot, him thinking that I would come visit. The nurse predicts that he probably won't make it through the night. Now, I've said everything I've needed to say to Jimmy Dale, and the nerve of him keeping me on top of his emergency contact list. I said my piece, and I got my closure. But you didn't, Billy. Now, he'll never give you an apology or make amends. That's just him. It's his burden to carry. But facing him, declaring your truth, Billy, anything that will help you with your healing, now is the time to do it. And just because it helped me doesn't mean that it'll work for you. Everyone overcomes certain things in their own way, in their own time. And Billy agrees, yeah, I need closure, and I want to see him. Darla hears the conversation, and she's moved to tears, discreetly leaving the room. Vi later checks on Darla. Are you okay? You're shaking. Darla takes a moment to gather her thoughts. The man that might be Blue's father has reached out to me, and I don't know what to do. I'm afraid of what Ralph might do. You faced your fears, and now I must face mine. I want my freedom. This could break us. Vi wants Darla to know, you don't have to do this. Everyone's methods to freedom are different. Whatever you decide to do, you're going to be okay. Take your time. Cardale addresses everyone with humble words. Thank you. I haven't been the most supportive as I should when it comes to the co-op, and I was in my head and mostly thought of myself. Now I see that the co-op is about unity and we're stronger together. I'm sorry that it took me this long to see everything, to make me see. He breaks down into tears. Ralph Angel, you're doing so much to help everyone and all their farms, and you don't have a farm to your name or to hold on to. I'm learning from you, Ralph Angel, just like I learned from your dad. There's nothing in this world like calling on a borderline friend. Everyone hugs, and now it's time to eat. Benny says hello to Hakeem. Hey man, how's your dad doing? You know, he taught me everything I know about farming. Sadly, Hakeem doesn't respond, but Billy reads his heart and just gives him a dap instead. Hollywood thanks Benny for looking out for Hakeem and taking a moment to speak to him. You know, kids nowadays, they have a lot to deal with, but we got to keep them close, and Benny agrees. Nova and Billy take a moment to speak. Billy is having a hard time thinking about everything. I suffer from a lot of loss because of Jimmy Dale, and it took a lot of things out of me just to face life. He was a horrible man. He beat up Vi, he tried to rape me, and now he gets to rest in peace? Nova says no. I doubt that he'll have peace. I mean, I don't believe that's how the universe works. Billy continues to vent. Do you know how long I played this out in my mind, what I would say to him, what I would do for all those years? Jimmy Dale was the first man to support my dream. He would call me Billy D. Esquire, and I loved it. Then I realized it was all a part of his predator MO. Then all of my dreams and thoughts, they just warped, and he made my dreams feel wrong, stained. I just locked my dreams away. I just threw them all away. Nova encourages her. Look at me and say to me what you would say to Jimmy Dale. Okay. You're a thief. You took everything from me. You took my dreams, my light. You took my trust. You took everything. And you don't get to do that to me and not pay for it. Now you have to pay. You don't even deserve to see me. You don't deserve to have what you took from me. And I hope you rot in hell. Billy breaks down in tears and Nova holds her. Good, Billy. Darla can't seem to find Ralph Angel. Has anyone seen him? Cardale says that he can't be too far away. I mean, he was the one that announced that it was time for lunch. Micah even says, yeah, he left in his truck, but I'm not sure where he went. Although Darla notices Micah's uncomfortable movement. Micah can't hold it anymore. Darla, can I speak to you alone? Look, I promised I wouldn't say anything, but there was this guy named Chase that stopped by the farm. He was looking for you, and Ralph beat him up pretty bad. Darla tries to call Ralph, but the cell towers are still down. She asks, look, keys, I need them now. Micah, tell them what's going on. Hollywood is up to speed about Chase, and Hollywood joins Darla to look for Ralph. Well, he's not at the farm. I mean, where else could he be, Darla? I don't know. All he does is work and take care of us. I mean, I can't change my past. I try to run from my past, and it always catches up with me. I've kept things from him, and even when he did what he did with the laundry warehouse, I mean, that was all for me. I mean, I don't deserve him. Hollywood reminds her that this is nonsense. Yes, you can. I've seen you at your worst, and you've done so much to get to where you are today. Now, both of you have done your fair share of keeping secrets, and it's never good to do so. Besides Ralph, I know you the most, and every day I pray for you, and always will. He hugs her, and Darla thanks him for everything. I needed to hear those words. Darla gets an alert, and she breathes a sigh of relief. He's at the pool. Ralph, can we talk about what happened at the farm last night? I didn't mean for you to find out this way. I thought I could handle all of this on my own, but I guess I couldn't, and I'm so sorry. Ralph doesn't want to hear that she's sorry. Last night, I looked into the eyes of a man whose eyes looked like my son's and a man who assaulted my wife. If Micah wasn't there to stop me, I would have killed him. And part of me wished I did. I'm so sorry, Ralph, all of this happened. It happened about 2 weeks ago when I went to D.C. and someone I knew saw Blue and they started putting 2 and 2 together. Darla? What about Blue? Has he seen Blue? Does this man want to be a part of my son's life? I mean, what if he wants to get right? Am I supposed to just let that happen? Darla thinks that the law won't allow that to happen. I mean, they're not going to let a rapist see their son. But Ralph reminds her that the law won't see him that way. And you can't promise such things. Darla assures that she will get on any stand, any media outlet to tell the truth about what he did to her. Ralph reminds her that she could barely handle Nova's book. Is this something that you're sure that you want to do? Go public? Darla feels that she can handle it. She has nothing to lose and will call him. She needs Ralph by her side. Hollywood, Vi, and the boys get ready for some dinner, and the only thing left is to say grace. But there's a knock at the door. It's Ignacio. He tried over and over again to call, but the cell towers have been down. Hollywood is so happy to see him and greets him with smiles. My brother, I'm so happy to see you, Ignacio. The boys run to him and Vi is excited. Well, come on in and sit down. There's enough food for everyone. Nova and Billy reminisce about the good times to soften the bad ones. All Nova can think about now is Camille. A summer spent with Camille was life-changing. Camille would make grilled cheese sandwiches and fried onions, and I've been craving them. Billy thinks that Nova should contact Camille. You're at a good point in your life. You're in love with Dominic. There's so much unfinished business. It will help you to move forward. Nova thinks that it's a good idea and jokingly says, okay, Miss Ayala. Micah reviews an endearing photo taken at Cardale's farm, and a text from Zane appears reading, my bad on your credit card. Send me some disaster porn pics. Let's make some money. Micah ignores the text and calls his mom, and the call is directed to voicemail. Hi, Mom. It's been a rough day, a rough few days, but everyone is okay. And I know it's long overdue, but I really wanted to say I'm sorry for what I posted. I know I hurt you and Dad, and I wasn't thinking. Well, I was thinking, but about the wrong things. And I wanted to make a statement, and I got caught up. I'm just really, really sorry. Ignacio thanks Hollywood and Vi for the meal. It was so painful not being able to speak to the kids. But it was comforting, though, knowing that the boys were safe, and you'll never know what that meant to me. Hollywood and Vi were happy to have the boys to stay with them. They were a great joy to have in the house. And if he doesn't want another plate, at least he can stay for a while. They know that he's exhausted. Ignacio explains that this nonprofit organization is still working on their case and is funding his motel for a few more weeks. It's going to give them some more breathing room for him and the boys. They thank her for all of the love and support, but Vi says that it was her pleasure. She will see Hakeem tomorrow at work. They've got to get moving. Their father has had a long day and is exhausted. Before they leave, Dante confirms, whenever you're ready to work on True North, I'm ready. After they leave, Vi and Hollywood hold back tears. It's this day that we've prayed for. But who knew the boys leaving would hurt so much? Nova pops up to see Camille and say hi. Wow. Hi, Nova. It's been so many years. I've actually been thinking about you. Oh, Billy didn't like one of my posts on social media recently. I was so sorry to hear that your dad passed. He actually came by a few times after my ex-wife and I reopened the store. He even encouraged me to reach out to you. He gave me your number and everything, and I didn't call. Life happened, kids, my wife. And besides, I didn't think you wanted to talk to me, especially after you left that summer. Nova realizes that, it was a lot going on, and you should have called. I would love the last chance to catch up. It's been so many years, and I just want to explain. Camille would love that conversation and to hear this explanation. And they exchange numbers. Camille guarantees that she'll call this time. Nova is brought to tears with joy, looking up at the sky as if to connect with her father, saying, "You gave her my number." Chase enters the room, cocky, dominating the energy as to get on with everything. But Darla isn't alone. He's met her husband, Ralph Angel, and the rest of her family is there for support. Ralph is there to make sure you don't hurt me, and Hollywood to make sure that Ralph Angel won't hurt you. Again, unless it's necessary. Chase doesn't want to be there just as much as they don't want him there. He just wanted this to go away. He has a family and this baby isn't his. He wants Darla to sign an NDA. Everything else they're doing isn't required. It isn't necessary. Darla won't sign an NDA, but says that the paternity rights in perpetuity, you can sign that away. Chase gladly signs. She also wants him to sign a protective order, keeping him away from her, her son, and allowing 5 days for Darla to submit a civil harassment order from the courts. But Chase screams that he doesn't want the courts to get involved. He didn't rape her. He wasn't the only one that night. That statement brings rage to Ralph Angel, and he hits Chase. Vi warns that no one likes him, and he better get this rolling so he can get out of there. Since Chase claims that he doesn't want to get the courts involved, he can sign a civil restraining order that he will stay away from her and her family. She was raped, and it didn't matter if she was high, drunk, danced suggestively, whatever you're going to throw at me. I trusted the people that I was around, and you took advantage of that situation. The last page, him making a large donation to the St. Josephine Black Farmers Co-op, Villa wire transfer. Chase reads the claim. Initial payment of $250,000. Monthly payments of $25,000 for 10 years. That's $3 million. I'm not paying that. Darla threatens, if you miss the initial payment or any monthly payments, then I'll take my story to every national media outlet. Chase calls the bluff. You'd have to prove it. Hollywood then plays back the audio of Chase admitting that he wasn't the only one. He then signs the last document and leaves. Redemption for Darla. And that is the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my reviews. Okay, you guys, so we only have a few episodes left to close the final season of Queen Sugar. Now, I've mentioned this in all of the previous recaps and the reviews for this final season, that they're gonna have to speed things up. There's a lot of loose ends that we need to know, some information that we need to know, closure for the audience, right? And I'm getting sick and tired of these extra storylines that I could care less about. The Dante and Hakeem character, Billy, her situation, you know, I've vented about that. But now having an understanding that the actress who plays Charlie is not involved in this last season due to personal endeavors, they kind of had to throw that in there and give us some extra oomph. So I get it, but it's unfortunate that they had to do that. It's like, okay. But in real life, in filming, if there is a character, that person in real life who passes, you know, away, or there's a situation that's personal that's going on, writing and production can switch some things around because that's real life, right? You can't handle what's going to happen. There are a lot of clauses in your contract that, of course, you can't abruptly leave, right? You can, you know, if you don't want to do it and you're like, I just don't feel like filming, you know, you'll get sued. But if there are any personal endeavors that are affecting you being able to perform your art, then there are some bending and movings that the production can do. And we're seeing that. And I'm glad that they're starting to close things into a bow and kind of give us some closure about stuff. Now, we did get some closure with Hollywood and Vi, especially for Hollywood, because Hollywood has wanted to foster children for a while. Now, since they do have this emotional detachment from Joaquin and Dante, maybe this will open the eyes for Vi to say, you know what, let me compromise with my husband. He really wants to be a foster father. Let's make this next move. Because Hollywood has always sacrificed for Vi, for her to get her shop, to staying patient with her for all of her endeavors, moving into her house, moving, you know, getting married when she wanted to get married. Like all of these compromises that he did, it will have some joy for Hollywood if Vi would compromise and start that process in being adoption parents, right? That will be fair. Hopefully we will see that. Now that she's feeling that emotional detachment from the kids, maybe that might happen. And that will be something that will be vindicated for Hollywood. That'd be great. So, I'm not sure how I feel about this last scene. I'm not sure how I feel about the Chase and Darla situation. Hear me out on this. Now, many people will watch this scene, okay, and they say, oh, she's getting, her justice. Pay me. This is what you owe me. You don't want to go to the courts. You got your family, you got your kid. So we'll make this compromise that you stay away from my family, that you give away your parental rights, that you're going to pay me this money, this initial payment to the St. Josephine Black Farmers Co-op, that you're going to pay monthly $25,000 for 10 years, which ultimately adds up to $3 million. Let's think about this. I know this is TV. I know we're not watching a legal, a legal show to where it's following, actual legal. It's for fun. It's a show, right? But emotionally, this made me feel kind of strange. For one, I really think that Blue needs to know who his real father is. I know that she was assaulted, but it kind of feels weird. Do you think that Blue should have the right to know who his real father is? Okay, so check this out. What if Blue, I'm just adding on conversation for debate. Blue grows up. He's a very smart kid, okay? He'll probably figure this out in 2 months. And what if he ventures and he wants to know who his father is? And then later finds out that he's in this contract of signing away his parental rights. You're basically doing the same thing that Charlie and Wes did to the side girl, the side piece, paying her hush money. So I didn't know how I felt about this last scene. It felt kind of blackmail, weird. I really don't like the way that was written. Now we can argue the other side. Let's say that Darla went public, right? Went to the courts and sued, and then was vindicated with a settlement. It could have went that way, and then that still could have been him paying monthly. And it's just something about staying out of the courts and keeping this secret. It's like, haven't y'all learned, like Darla and Ralph, when y'all keep secrets, all it does is backfire. And I feel like that plan will backfire. But this is the last season. We won't get to venture into that. But I thought that seems just very odd that you're receiving this money that's going to fund grossly, give a little something to the St. Josephine Black Farmers Co-op. You're receiving the money from somebody who assaulted you. That this person is funding this company. I thought that was just strange. I also thought it was strange that, is this truly legal justice? Legal justice to me is you going through the courts, you testing the people, right, who were intimate with you, who are not intimate with you, who assaulted you that night, and finding out who Blue's real father is, and him paying you and him going to jail. That's justice. But if you look at it from a morale thing, I guess, of okay, he'll still be with his kids. He'll still have his wife. Darla won't have the public embarrassment, and we can just sweep this under the rug. I don't know. That's a nice debate. I don't know. I'm torn with that scene. I just thought it was kind of weird. Now let's talk about Nova and Camille. This is something I don't care about either. Nova thinking about, her first, love, my first love. Everybody hold your lighters up. Silhouette in a perfect frame. Okay. Anyway, once again, I think they're throwing in this storyline as a filler because Charlie's character is not there. I just really don't care about that. But they're going to dive into that. Maybe Nova is learning, right? The true meaning of commitment. Maybe she's getting closure from her first love. I don't know. I just don't care about that. Zane and Micah. Okay, this situation now. Wow. The fact that Zane is like, oh, sorry about your credit card, man. Oh, and send me some of those photos from a disaster, right? And let's make this money. He calls it disaster porn. I was like, wow. Totally showing that he has no morale when it comes to true art, empathy, feelings. Here it is. Micah is very saddened and remorseful and regretful about posting that and hurting his parents' feelings. And he's told Zane that I shouldn't have done that. I can't remove it. It was dumb. He even asked him to remove it. He couldn't remove it mid-sale. And still, it's like Zane kind of went over that again and said, hey, send me some disaster relief photos, and then has the nerves to call it porn. In other words, just indulging in other people's terrible situation, not thinking about the cost of emotion. Micah is learning about what the teacher said to him, that when you sell and it's about money, then and that idea is put out there, that company is going to want that from you because that's what you're providing. You're sending this message that it's art, kinda, and the main idea here is to make money off of this art. So give me the art, give me the loot, and we're going to post it and we're going to make money. So Micah's probably going to have this revolution scene of accepting that this isn't for me and depart from Ivory NFT. That's the only thing that makes sense. And hopefully he can just depart from that, get his money back from the credit card. You know what I'm saying? Have proof that, hey, I have a text that you sent about the credit card. You're admitting that you spent the money. Give me my money back. This is legally binding, okay? When it comes to Billy and Jimmy Dale, I was frustrated about that too. Really didn't care about Billy and the whole Jimmy Dale thing when they brought it up the previous season and they all got closure on that. I think it should have been ended with that. But once again, this is a storyline that needs to be a filler to push us through the season, okay? So Billy and Jimmy Dale, that was really, really a really beautiful scene that Nova said, hey, pretend like you're talking to him, but you know, looking at me. And Billy was finally able to purge how she felt. I thought that was beautifully written. Maybe Billy will be on her way to see Jimmy Dale and maybe won't make it because the hospice nurse did say, hey, I'm thinking he won't make it through the night. So that is a possibility that she'll go see Jimmy Dale and he doesn't make it, or she'll be able to say what she wants to say and he's on his deathbed and she can, you know, vindicate herself and say that. Now, I'm glad Cardale, you guys, was humbled in this episode because his character was very annoying when it came to the development and ideas with the co-op team. It was so annoying. Every idea they had, everything they did, I don't know about that. And he admitted, I've been selfish. I've been thinking to myself. Now I realize, it took me forever to realize, and I had to take my farm almost flooding for me to get it. But dang, you know, thank you. I'm realizing now, like, I'm glad. It took a lot for him to admit that because his character got on my nerves. Oh, the character got on my nerves. What got on my nerves so much is, yeah, you can have your doubts and yeah, it's okay to have legitimate debates about it's your farm and you don't want your farm to go over. But once they proved time and time again that the ideas were great, he stayed in the co-op and he benefited from it. You know, I'd have been like, hey, if you don't believe in the co-op, then you need to get out the co-op. You know, you can't be back and forth and saying all of this and then stay in the co-op and then you riding along with us. It's like, nah, you straddling the fence. What you want to do? You want to be a part of the co-op or not? Let me know what you think, you guys. I love this series. I love the music. I love the colors. I love that they're going behind the scenes and letting us get the insights from the directors. I think it's absolutely beautiful. But I'm also happy that we are ending the final season because it needs to come to a close when it comes to writing, because you don't want storylines to become redundant. And I think the audience is really understanding now that it was becoming redundant. We do need closure with a lot of things. The last few episodes should be dedicated, right, to what's going to happen with the land. That should be the final thing. If they don't talk about that, there's going to be very disappointing. That is the whole thing. That's the name of the show, right? Queen Sugar. It's all about the land. It's all about the farm. So wrap it up with the Landrys. What's going to happen with it? Tell us ASAP before I start to cry, okay? Watch Atlanta, the Emmy Award-winning FX original series. Check it out. That's the last season. If you haven't seen the previous seasons, make sure that you binge watch on that and so much more on the channel. In the meantime, in between time, remember to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and you can also make a nice donation to the channel if you want to. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.